Devaney.
I am Karen Devaney. I'm not Ann Varner.
That's correct.
And I'm just putting that out there right now because I have Bailey's in my coffee and I may get it wrong later.
Bailey's in my coffee too, and girl, it is treating me good.
I love it.
And I have so many things to talk about.
Oh my God. You know why? Because this is Sugar Coated Murder Podcast.
It is.
Welcome, guys, to Sugar Coated Murder Podcast.
And we do baking.
And we do true crime. And
we don't do the crime, but we discuss. We
talk about true crime.
Yeah.
But we do the baking.
We do the baking.
Yes.
But not the crime.
And the baking has been happening lately
I did not shoot the sheriff or the deputy.
No, but you
did
open up your kitchen for the baking.
Yes.
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 And it smells so good in here.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
We need to do another podcast about our addiction to Sally's baking addiction.
Oh my gosh.
I'm addicted to Sally's baking addiction.
Yes. Well, Sally has us hooked on her baking addiction.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of addiction I don't want to be rehabbed from.
No.
And we could be considered stalkers at this point, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Well, listen, I've got this recipe I'm doing tonight, and then she just posted another recipe I'm going to do the next time. I already know what I'm doing.
Is it the macaroni?
It is.
Macarons? You're going to try them?
It's 2021.
Oh.
I'm on it.
I think I'm going to try her chocolate souffle.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Tonight, I'm making cinnamon crunch bread.
That pleases me so much because we grew up on cinnamon toast.
We did. And I love a cinnamon crunch bagel.
Yes.
It's delicious.
Yep.
So I've never made a bread. Well, I did make a bread at Christmas time that had yeast in it, but it was a bread mix. This was an actual, I had to activate the yeast kind of situation. It seemed a little bit more complicated.
It seems anything yeast, I am very intimidated by the yeast. So I am leaving it all up to you.
You shouldn't be.
Because when you say activate the yeast, I'm like, what do you do? Go, okay, yeast, let's get it going.
Grow.
Hello, wake up, yeast.
So this recipe, and I have to say, she kind of takes all the scare out of the bread.
Well, she does that with all of her recipes. She makes you so confident.
She does. So with this one, you just get the little yeast packet, and you mix it with warm buttermilk and warm water and sugar.
All things
you whisk, let it sit for 5 minutes, and it gets foamy on top.
Okay.
Your yeast is active.
Oh.
When you got the foam.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
And then you add in your flour, your egg, some butter. There's like a whole thing. And I just stuck it right in my KitchenAid. My KitchenAid came with a hook, as I think most of them do.
I don't know if mine did.
If you bought it at a secondhand store, though, you might not have the hook. I have an extra hook if you ever need it.
I probably will.
Mm-hmm. I just put that hook in there and started whipping around all that
mixture.
So
you are a yeasty hooker.
I'm a hooker. I'm a hooker with active yeast.
Wow, this is a whole new personality for you.
Yeah. Some people want to get some sort of ointment or cream for that.
No.
Not me.
You just hook it.
Just butter.
You put it right out there with the hooker.
Right. And it did all the kneading for me, so I didn't have to do any kind of kneading.
See, and that's intimidating to me, too, because when I see people kneading, it's like some kind of a wrist action thing that I'm not sure I have that.
If you've got the hooker, you don't have to knead.
God bless a hooker.
The hooker does it for you.
I love that.
Yes.
Gosh.
Imagine. So then you have to let your dough rise, which I had to do ahead of time. It's like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Woo. It's got to rise.
Rise up.
Yeah. So I've done that part.
And you didn't have to sit there and say, rise up for like
I'm so ignoring, I'm ignoring you, hoping
I know, but that's what I'd be
doing.
No. I would be doing that to my bread. I'd
no,
be like,
I was investigating my true crime that I needed to talk about.
That's true.
Yeah. So I had to do that early because we don't have that kind of time at night.
Ain't nobody got that kind of time.
No. I will admit I've had to watch a video from Sally because she does this thing where you pat out your dough. It's got to be in the certain, I don't know, something by something rectangle. And
so it's certain dimensions.
Yeah, I'm not good at that. I don't have the dimension pad from Pampered Chef, but I might need one.
Mm-hmm.
I just guessed based on the length of my
anybody out there selling Pampered Chef, drop us a link to our email.
Yeah.
We'll help you out there.
So I did it the length of my pan, my loaf pan that's going in. and you put this topping on it, and then you got to roll it like a Swiss cake roll.
Shut up, and you're good at that.
I did that. Well, then you got to cut it in half, and then you got to braid it.
Like half lengthwise?
Yeah.
That's
like
very
down the
intimidating.
log, all the way down that
That's
long
intimidating.
log. Then you have to bind the top of it and braid the rest of it. Yeah.
Oh, you're freaking
That
me
was
out
crazy.
right now.
It
You're
was
freaking me out.
crazy.
I feel like you're on the Great British Baking Show.
I kept thinking if I was on the Great British Baking Show, this might be a recipe I'd do on the bread day.
So I had a premonition dream.
Uh-oh.
Not this morning, but yesterday morning. And the premonition dream was that I was on a show like the British Baking Show.
Mm-hmm.
You were on it too. There were several other people, and this girl that I went to college with named Michelle was on it, which is very random.
Right.
So random.
Right.
And I got in there, and it was at like Martha Stewart was there.
Right.
And it was like at her estate.
As well she should be.
Yeah, and we were like staying there. It was like a big thing. It was televised. Like it was a big deal.
Oh, gosh.
I couldn't find the first fucking ingredient in that place.
Man.
I couldn't find the herbs. I couldn't find anything. One of the challenges was you just had to make tea. I couldn't even find the fucking teapot. Sorry, Mama. I couldn't find the teapot. I was so upset. And this Michelle girl, everything she did turned out picture perfect.
Oh,
and I was just like, I feel like that she is a professional baker.
Right.
But her last name, her married name is Baker. And I think that's why.
Oh my gosh.
And I think like in my mind, it was just crazy. So then I was like, well, I wonder how my sister's doing. And I went over there and I was like, Sugar, I can't even find the herbs. And you're like, girl, I found my herbs. You need to get back.
Oh,
you completely dissed me.
I would, you know me better
So
than
I
that.
walked out by the third episode.
I
said, I'm
herbs
out.
and your herbs
I know, but I couldn't. The only thing I could find was a lemon tree, and I didn't need any lemons.
Oh, man.
Growing right in the middle of the kitchen. It was the most amazing place I've ever been.
Oh, wow.
So,
did we have sugar-coated murder podcast emblem stickers on our mixers?
Nothing. There was no mention of that podcast whatsoever.
Well, then it was fake.
It was completely fake.
All right, I have some things to talk about. It's important.
Okay. Is this current events?
This is current events.
Okay.
Today, a sighting that I saw in the South Carolina
area. Sighting that you saw.
A sighting that I saw. I've seen something, and I need to talk about it.
Okay, let's talk. Okay.
There is a gentleman, because I saw the gentleman actually using this, I wouldn't call it a product. I don't know what you want to call it. It's genius. It's so innovative. These are people we need in our lives. This gentleman has taken a keg, an empty keg, like you would get, for a party. Obviously, it's emptied out. Mm-hmm. He probably said maybe he was having a going-away party and moved to a different state and didn't return the empty keg. I mean, somehow he has gotten his hands on an empty keg. Yeah. He has cut that sucker in half, and he has made himself a grill. And he keeps that grill on the back of his truck.
That's genius.
He's not breaking any kind of rules anywhere.
No, but he can break out in a grill at any time.
He can grill anywhere.
He can grill
on
anywhere.
The job site.
Like if there is a traffic jam and the road is shut down, you can pull over and you can just freaking grill.
I'm guessing he's got a cooler in his truck somewhere. Like built in. Maybe it's built into a seat or something. Mm-hmm. Now it's a cooler. It's like a whole thing.
We need to know this man.
How creative is that?
We need to know this man. Did you approach him in any way?
Oh, God, no.
No?
No.
Oh, that's
He's
really
not
sad. That's not very sociable.
He didn't look approachable.
He's not approachable?
He did not look approachable.
Everybody's approachable.
Well, I will give you his information, and I think you need to drum up a conversation. How do you have his information
if you didn't approach him? You followed him?
I can't tell you this. That is confidential information.
Okay, so you can tell me after the podcast.
Maybe, if you're nice. It depends on your attitude. Well, Next, I'm going to tell you something very exciting.
I'm going to sip on my
Super exciting. You keep drinking. This week, my spirit animal was a bunny rabbit.
Oh, I
love rabbits, they're super lucky.
They are.
And what my spirit guide told me is, I know sometimes I put this out there, but you really should buy lottery tickets. Okay. So I bought some lottery tickets today. And don't you know, I won $50 in my scratch-offs.
Oh, my gosh, Sugar.
I made over 2 tickets. I spent 20, made 50. I made $30 today, and all I did was go to the grocery store.
And stalk a man with a keg grill.
Whatever.
And
Never.
my spirit animal this week is a wombat.
Yeah. It is? Oh, that was last
that
week.
was last week.
Yeah, you're
I really
done.
remember.
It was not significant for this week?
Must not have been.
Wow. You're not listening to your spirit people anymore.
It just didn't click.
It didn't stick
with
me. Well,
that's okay.
we're fortunate that we've got a spiritual advisor that helps us with things like this.
Yes, she really does.
For now,
us.
she may not do it in the future, but she did indicate that we would go to a local store. We're going to get the name of that and talk to people about that next time.
Oh, really?
There's a local store that sells cards, so we can do our own
that's right.
spiritual animal advising.
Oh, so this week it was the badger. That's why I'm confused. Last week it was the wombat. So this week it's the badger, and it's just...
You're going to be tearing people up?
Probably.
Wow.
Be fearless.
Fearless.
Be fearless and bold.
All right.
Which I'm already bold.
Yeah, I don't know how much more bold we can get.
That's awesome, Sugar. That's just a lot to talk about right there.
It is a lot to talk about.
I have things to talk about, too.
Oh, let's hear it.
I need to serve you up with a big 5-layer trifle of murder.
Oh, let's hear about it.
This is such a big murder. I'm going to serve you up some murder.
Serve it up, girl.
Okay. So, it's like a 5-layer casserole.
Oh, wow.
That's how it is. Okay, so we're going to go to Bingley, West Yorkshire, England.
Yorkshire?
We're in Yorkshire, England.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Jolly old England.
Spot of tea.
Uh-huh. And so we're going to talk about this dude named Peter Sutcliffe. Peter?
Did you say Peter?
I said Peter Sutcliffe.
Okay.
I'm just making sure I'm enunciating my words in the beginning, because as I go, I get excited and I get mush mouth.
Right.
And when I listen back to it, I'm like, what the hell am I saying? So I'm not sure how anybody's keeping up. I think the reason people keep listening is they're still trying to figure out what the hell I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe she'll say what she said last time and I'll get it.
Yeah, and I'll understand, like it'll be a different context.
Yes.
But I will tell you that I was listening to a murder show earlier this week, and the narrator said something about figured. He figured.
I know.
You've been saying figured.
I know. I'm telling you, it's because I've been watching so many British shows.
I think so, too.
I think I just picked it up.
I
didn't even realize it until we started listening. I was like, did I say figure?
And not once, but multiple times you said that. So I'm trying to enunciate early on so that when I get to like my page 2, people at least got the first part of the story. And the rest of it's like,
Peter.
Wah, 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 and the end.
Right.
Okay.
All right, let's hear. What the heck happened to Peter?
Well, he was born in June of 1946. His father's name was John, and Kathleen was his mom.
Mom?
Yes.
All right.
He had...
Do we know who his nan was?
No, we don't know nan. We just know mom.
Okey-dokey.
He had 5 siblings. 5. That's a lot. That's a lot of siblings. He was the oldest. He was a bit of an oddball. I would say a bit quirky. He was a bit quirky. He was on the small side. He was shy and introverted, and he liked to stay close to mom. He did. So, Dad often accused Mom of being unfaithful to him, and not only being unfaithful, but like constantly accused her of like outright sleeping around, like not just having an affair, but like having multiple trysts, which was a little confusing to
My God, she had given him 5 children.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, what the heck?
At what point do you think I have time during the day to go off and try to make another baby? I don't think so.
Really?
No, get yourself together, John. Turns out John was the one that was having the affairs.
Of course, because that's the way it works.
Yeah, so he was the one stepping out.
I'm going to accuse you of what I'm doing.
Right. So let's talk some more about Peter.
Okay, Peter.
Peter hated school. He was often bullied due to his small stature. It was hard to make friends. As a teenager, he started bodybuilding to bulk up so people would stop picking on him. And then he goes and quits school at the age of 15. He said, I'm out.
Right.
I'm donezo.
But that's not completely out of character for kids maybe around that age in the UK, if the shows that I watch are true.
Okay, that's fine. This was by then this was in the 50s. I don't know what was happening then with their education system. But that's fine.
And they don't call it like, I'm in the 2nd grade.
No, it's different.
You would call it, I'm in seconds. Like when you're a senior, you're in 12s.
Yeah, it's weird.
I love
you're
it.
in
I love
twos
it.
or 12s or whatever.
I love it.
So, so he drops out of school at 15 and he starts to get some odd jobs. And these jobs are quite odd. Okay. So one job that he very much enjoyed was he worked at a mortuary.
Oh, odd. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. He really liked to play around with the corpses, like posing them in grotesque poses.
Oh.
And using them as ventriloquist dummies.
Oh.
Yeah.
When you shook back and forth, did your chair shake a little?
It didn't.
Okay.
Why?
No reason. Keep going.
Why? Is there a screw loose?
There may or may not have been a screw that has come out of the chair, but I'm not.
You're just telling me this now. I'm sitting in it.
I don't think it's one that holds it together so much as it's one
decorative.
It keeps the seat on.
Well,
So don't rock.
Okay, I'm going to be here still. I'm probably not going to breathe anymore.
Okay, so he's posing the dead people.
And using them as ventriloquist dummies.
Oh my gosh.
He's loving that.
And he's 15. A boy that's 15. Okay,
Yeah.
We're in trouble.
And eventually he gets another job digging graves.
Wow. Well, that makes sense. If you work for a mortuary, you got ties to people who are digging the graves.
And so he found a lot of joy in playing morbid pranks with the skeletons.
Did he say, I'm digging up bones?
I don't think he did. I don't think that song was out, and I don't think Randy Travis was real popular in the UK at that point.
You don't know. You don't know Randy.
You're right.
Know.
He was a globetrotter, and they might have discovered him way before us. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so he liked to play with the skeletons and the corpses, and a lot of times he would open the coffins and steal the jewelry right off the corpses.
Yeah.
So I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah.
There's a theme.
Peter's
There's
maybe going down the wrong kind of hole.
He's going through a little quirky. That's
phase.
funny, that hole, that grave digging, that hole. Yes, he's going through a little quirky phase, I think. So at the age of 20, Peter meets Sonia. And her last name is a weird name. It's Sermon, I think, but it's an Szurma. So it's Sherman. She was Czechoslovakian, and I can never pronounce those names.
That makes sense.
It's because I'm an ignorant American. So anyway, in 1974, he marries her, and she was the only woman he had ever dated. He had never been with another woman. He had never dated one. He never even had a crush on a girl at school before.
But the 20-year-old Czechoslovakian girl.
Well, he was 20. I don't know how old she was. So, due to his hot and cold employment habits, they moved in with her parents and had to live there. Turns out that Peter was secretly spending money on prostitutes.
Peter. Oh, Peter.
Oh, Peter. So, in June of 1975, he was 29 years old, and he got the specialized license that allowed him to drive a special truck called a lorry.
Okay.
Lorry. And when I looked it up, it says it's a large, heavy truck used to transport food or troops.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a big delivery truck, but I think he could do some long hauling. Not that they would have long hauling in the United States, but
Yeah, I mean he could take a
drove
body,
a lot of places,
a couple of caskets to where they need to go,
or food, or both at the same time. If he wanted to have half food and half bodies, whatever,
right,
it's fine. So around the same time, Peter was told that his beloved Sonia could not have children after suffering many miscarriages.
Oh,
and he was quite devastated.
Oh, no.
So soon after he found out this news, he started on a very violent spree.
He was mad.
He was real upset. So we're going to talk about this little spree of his. I wouldn't call this a spree.
Did he ever get bigger?
Well, he
was
did.
He did. A little man.
He wasn't. He bulked up in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And he was strong. He was a very strong man.
Right.
So they really didn't give me a height on him.
They didn't? Okay.
No, but I feel like in his teens, he kind of came into his own.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But still had a little quirkiness to him. So, okay. So in the early hours of July 4th, 1975, obviously they're not going to be celebrating our Independence Day with us because that was our independence from them. I don't think it's a time that they're celebrating. I don't think there's one single firecracker going off there.
I beg to differ.
You think?
I think they celebrate that? There are Americans that now live there that celebrate.
But I don't think it's a national holiday for them.
No.
So His first known attack was on Anna Patricia Rogulski. And Anna was outside of her boyfriend's house around...
She sounds Czechoslovakian, too.
They didn't say.
Rogulski.
Well, Rogulski could also be Polish. It could be
no, I think she's
Italian.
Czechoslovakian.
Okay, that's
He's
fine.
mad at his wife.
Okay. So she was outside of her boyfriend's house around 1:30 a.m., but turns out he wasn't home. So as she stood outside of his home and pondering her next move, Peter Sutcliffe attacked her. He beat her in the head with a ball-peen hammer.
Oh, that's not nice.
And once she was incapacitated and unconscious on the ground, he lifted her skirt and stabbed and sliced at her, all around her genital area and her stomach. He was interrupted by a neighbor and was able to sneak away in the dark, leaving her there. She was barely alive, but she lived.
Wow.
She lived.
But I'm guessing maybe she couldn't have children.
She was rushed to the hospital, and after 12 hours, the doctors were able to save her. And she spent the next 33 years alone, scarred, scared, and barricaded herself behind security walls, bars, wires, alarms. She never got over this.
Yeah.
Never got over it.
Oy.
So after attacking Anna, Peter returns home, sleeps next to his wife Sonia, wakes up the next day and goes off to look for work. Because that's what you do after you murder, right?
Right.
So in August of 1975, a little over a month after he attacks Anna, he attacks this lady named Olive. He sees Olive in a bar when he's out with one of his dude friends. And she's out for ladies' night with her friends. Her husband is at home with the children. He follows her home and attacks her in an alleyway. He hits her with a ball-peen hammer in the head.
He's got an M.O.
Yeah. And once she's stunned and on the ground, she hears him say, "Weather's letting us down lately, isn't it?"
What?
Yeah, he's just having a conversation with her.
Oh.
Yes. And then he starts slashing at her buttocks and genitals.
Her buttocks?
Yes. A car scares him off, and Olivia survives, but she's never the same again.
Olivia or Olive?
Olive.
You called her Olive.
Her name is Olive.
Thank God.
Sorry, Olive.
But she lives.
She lives.
Yay!
So at the end of August, he attacks again. This time, he attacks 14-year-old Tracy Brown. 14.
14?
She's walking to her house at night, and he attacks her with a ball-peen hammer to the head. She never loses consciousness, and she said that she will never forget the sound of the grunts of him hitting her in the head.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, and a car headlights, an approaching car starts approaching, and that's what saves her life. An approaching car approaches, and then it approaches.
Yes.
With an approaching.
Are we okay?
We're
on page 2.
Wait, no, I've made it to page 1, 2, 3. I've made it to page 5.
Wow.
So an approaching car approaches with approaching headlights and scares him away.
Oh, God.
So in September, he now gets a job as a delivery driver.
Wow.
Okay? So on the evening of October 29th, he picks up Wilma, who was hitchhiking after the bars had closed.
Oh, Wilma.
He sexually assaults her and kills her and mutilates her, if you know what I mean.
I understand.
And dumps her body very close to her home.
Well, how kind of him.
Isn't that so sweet of him?
What
Yes.
a thoughtful
Yes.
man.
January
His
of...
mom must be so proud.
So proud. We'll get to Mom. So January of 1976, he picks up a sex worker named Emily.
Emily?
He stabbed her over 50 times.
Oh, Lord.
And so he kills her and he dumps her.
Ah.
And now these attacks are really starting to take a toll on Peter.
Oh, what, he's tired?
Well, he can't seem to get up in the morning for work. He's often late, and he loses his job in March of 1976.
Poor Peter.
Oh, Peter. So, in May of that same year, 1976, a 20-year-old sex worker named Marcella.
Marseille.
No, Marcella.
Okay.
She's walking home, and Peter picks her up, and he takes her out to a field.
Oh.
She gets out of the car to tinkle.
Oh, gosh.
And he sneaks up behind her and hits her in the head with a ball-peen hammer. Yes. And he incapacitates her on the ground. She's bloody, but she's conscious. And she remembers him standing over her and doing the M word over her body as she's bleeding.
Gross.
And then places a 5-pound note in her hand and says, "Have a nice day."
He paid her? Oh, my Lanta.
And then says, "Here's money so you don't need to call the police."
Peter, it's going to take more than a 5-pound note. Be quiet.
Yeah. So she finds a way to call an ambulance. She ends up getting 52 stitches to put her back together.
Oh, wow.
But she survives. But she never recovers mentally from this attack.
How do you recover mentally from that?
The man put a 5-pound note in her hand.
Not even Dr. Phil could make it.
No,
that.
he couldn't. And he does a lot.
He does.
He's a miracle worker.
He is.
He's the Annie Sullivan of mental health.
I love him.
So, again, in October, we're in 1976, Peter gets a new job. Now he's driving one of the big lorry trucks, the big transport trucks. So, in February of 1977, he picks up Irene, who is a sex worker. He smashed her in the head with a ball-peen hammer, and he did it so hard he actually penetrated her brain.
Gosh darn it.
He stabs her so hard he disembowels the woman.
For heaven's sake, Peter.
Yes. At this point, the media dubs this killer the Yorkshire Ripper.
The Yorkshire Ripper?
It's the Yorkshire Ripper.
Oh,
yes. And because the case really is centering around these prostitutes that are getting murdered, the media very quickly just moves on.
Oh.
Not a big story there, just some prostitutes getting murdered.
Sex workers. They never get the credit they deserve.
They're out there, it's their fault because they put themselves in harm's way, blah, blah, blah. All the things that marginalize these women.
Right.
Which really is not nice. So, in April of 1977, Tina was the next one. She's a sex worker. And she's heard about there's a guy out there killing these prostitutes on the street. So she says, "I'm only working out of my flat, so I'm protected."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Peter makes house calls.
Oh, Peter.
So this time, because he's undisturbed, he really goes to town and he uses a chisel on her.
Oh,
and he stabs and mutilates her and kills her.
Gosh, dog it.
So
Peter.
he's really busy. June of 1977. Jane. She is a 16-year-old shop assistant. She's not a sex worker. She has missed her bus after she closed up the shop and she's walking home. She passes by a playground and the Ripper attacks her. And he smashes her in the
head
with a ball-peen
hammer
3 times and then he stabs her to death. He's rude.
He's a real jerk.
Yeah. Peter turns out as a dick. Sorry, Mama. So, Maureen.
Sorry, Mom.
And Nan up in heaven. Okay, so in July, he attacks Maureen. And Maureen is saved by some barking dogs because he attacks her on the street and somewhere in the distance there's some dogs barking, kicking up a storm. He gets nervous and he leaves.
Right.
So she survives. October 1st, 1977.
Are these women not able to give descriptions of this monster?
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
October of 1977, Jean is a sex worker. He pays her a 5-pound note, which was their agreed upon price. Let me just point that out.
Okay, but I think maybe she didn't realize what she was agreeing upon.
So he kills her in his regular smash her in the head with a ball-peen hammer, stab, stab, stab. Okay, but then he thinks of...
funny if you found out you were pronouncing ball-peen wrong way after this.
What would it be?
I don't know. I don't even know how it's spelled. I'm just thinking
Ballpeen.
I have no idea.
Maybe
I'm just saying.
Ball-peen.
No. I'm not saying you're saying wrong. I'm not saying you're saying it wrong. I'm saying how funny would that be?
It would be hysterical. And they were like, "You're so dumb, you stupid Americans. It's not a ball peen hammer, it's a bullpen." We call that a bullpen.
A bullpen.
So Maureen gets away. Then he attacks Jean. He gives her the £5 note. And then he kills her. But then he thinks about it and he goes, I am so tired of this publicity about the Ripper. Like, they've nicknamed me the Ripper. That's so rude. I don't want police to think this is a Ripper murder. So he hides her body.
Oh,
and a week later, he says, I'm going back. I'm taking my money back.
I'm getting me £5 note.
I'm getting me £5 note back. And he decides, I'm going to cut her head off because the Ripper doesn't cut off heads. And they won't know. So he gets there. He's really pissed off because her purse is missing. Now, some stupid ass, horrible person has walked by this dead body and stolen the woman's purse and never reported her dead.
Was she a sex worker?
She was.
Well, probably one of her clients came by and said, I guess you're not up for it tonight, lovey.
And I'll just take that £5 note and everything else in your purse.
Exactly.
I'll just take this purse home to my wife and give it to her for Easter.
Right.
So he tries to cut her head off, but his hacksaw can't hack it. So he only partially decapitates her, and he's so frustrated that he slashes at her dead body, causing 8-inch deep post-mortem wounds. Like, he messes her up. So in December of 1977, Marilyn is a sex worker. He attacks her, but again, barking dogs drive him away, and she survives.
Wow.
So now we're in January of 1978. This started in 1975. This man is out of freaking control. And he's just doing whatever the hell he wants.
I feel like you're leaving out critical information.
Well, okay. So
she does not deny.
I'm not denying. So a sex worker named Yvonne, he attacks her and kills her and hides her body so well she isn't found until March. But when they find her body, she has been hit in the
thigh,
head with a bapun hammer and slashed. And they say, Who? Ripper.
It's the Ripper.
It's the Yorkshire Ripper. So now, at the end of January...
Let me put me putting down the Yorkshire Rippers at back.
I don't even know what you just said. Translate, please.
I'll have a point and we'll talk about it.
Okay. I'll meet you in the pub for a point. Oh, God. We've been watching too much British TV, but I love it.
I can't get enough.
I don't want all of them to be my friends.
They're so much better at solving crime than we are.
Can we talk about the last
except for these people.
tango in wherever they are?
Halifax.
Manchester. In Halifax. I don't know. In UK. I love that show. It
was
so
great.
Good.
I enjoyed it.
It better be coming back on. Okay, anyway, end of January 1978, there's an 18-year-old sex worker named Helen. He attacks her, and she's on the ground bleeding, and he has sex with her.
Ew.
As she's bleeding to death. He's so disgusting.
Ripper.
And then he stabs her in the heart and lungs and kills her. And then there's a 10-week lull.
Remember when he didn't kill him?
I know, remember back then.
He just destroyed them. He didn't kill
he just slashed them in their genitals and left them scarred for life. I remember. Oh, Peter. So there's a 10-week lull. I don't know what happens. I don't know if Peter goes on vacation or what the hell.
Maybe he got some sort of a flu.
I hope he got a venereal disease and got the drips.
God, that would be amazing.
That. So he comes across a 41-year-old sex worker named Vera.
Let me tell you, it does not pay to be a sex worker in that area.
Well, if you're only getting a £5 note, I'm just saying.
Not only that, but there's a history of people loving to kill them.
Yeah, there's a Ripple situation.
There's like a whole situation happening over there.
So he attacks her, and he, again, stabs her in her stomach to the point of disembowelment, and she dies. That's a nasty way to die.
It is a nasty way.
Then there's an 11-month lull. Well,
God,
it's because...
you said there was an 11-month old. I was going to turn the podcast off and shut it down.
No, it's a lull.
A lull.
A lull.
Not a lullaby.
No.
Not a lull. Not a lull.
Turns out his mom gets sick. And he is tending to her tenderly.
Oh, well, how sweet.
I know, tending to her. And so, yay for the sex workers that his mother is sick. And she ends up dying in November of 1978.
Oh, God.
You would think this would change his life around. Like, you would think, okay,
I think it's going to make it
have a come to
worse.
Jesus in a minute. But no. Peter, in April of 1975, he attacks a bank clerk. A bank clerk. Josephine. She's walking home from work. He bashes her in the head with a ball-peen hammer.
Crowbar.
I'm just going to give it to you. 2 times, stabs her 25 times. This is definitely a Ripper murder.
Yeah.
September of 1979. Sugar, how long is this going to go on?
Forever.
How long has this been going on? That's what I'd be saying to the cops. So Barbara is attacked and she dies instantly from one hammer blow to the head. Bink.
Well, that's really bad, but probably the best way to go.
I think that's exactly right. But he still stabs her anyway, even though she dies. Because he's just mean.
He's a jackass.
So the police bring Peter Sutcliffe in many, many times to interview him about this Ripper. Mm-hmm. That they feel like there's something there. Mm. They never keep him.
Why?
They never keep him.
Let's see. You look a lot like what they've been describing, Peter.
Yeah. You got any ball-peen hammers on you?
Your
Go fish. I say, old chap, have any ball-peen hammers in your hand?
No? Oh, okay. Well,
how about any stabbing tools?
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta. How about a screwdriver, a knife, or a chisel? Any of those? Go fish. Okay, bye. So, anyway, in April of 1980, he's actually arrested.
For?
Drunk driving. He sobers up and gets released.
Of course he does.
Back onto the streets you go, Peter. August of 1980. How flippin' long has this been flippin' going on? Holy freaking moly. 1975. This guy's just doing wherever he wants.
Wherever.
He's doing wherever. This is why I'm on like page 8 or page like 6. So I'm just saying right now it's going to get real mushy.
Yeah.
Y'all going to be like, get that pudding out of your mouth. I don't understand a damn thing you're saying, pudding mouth. So, jeez Louise. This is serious shit.
I'm not laughing. Keep going. I'm listening.
Okay. So in 1980, he attacks Marguerite, and she's a civil servant.
Damn it, Peter.
Peter, now you're talking our language. He attacks her on the street at night, but he forgot his knife. Like, he's like, hello, unorganized oaf. Like, you so forgetful, you dumbass.
Oh, well,
so he's forced to strangle her.
I have to use me hands.
Oh, I hate using me hands. It makes me hands so tired. My hands are so sore the next day. I can barely hold my pint. So, yeah.
Jackass. God, he's really pissing me off.
So the next 2 attacks that he makes, these people survive. One lady's name is, I'm going to murder this name. I'm going to massacre this name. Upadiah.
Oh, like Obadiah, but Obadiah?
Oh, Upadiah. Upadiah. She was a doctor visiting from Singapore. Mm. She was just a tourist. Mm. And then the other one was a 16-year-old named Teresa, and it not only traumatized her for the rest of her life, but her parents were so traumatized by what he did. They never got over it. Mm-mm. Like, this guy's a sicko. He's a sick ticket. I don't even want to go into the things he did because no. He's ooky. He's an ooky man. So in November of 1980, he attacks a student, a university student named Jacqueline, and he kills her, and he bashes her head in so hard that her eye is mutilated.
For God's sakes, Peter.
Peter, you're gross now. You're just being gross and sloppy and forgetful. So by now, police have actually conducted over 40,000 interviews regarding this case. They ain't paying attention.
What is the matter with them?
And they've spent over £1 million.
Oh, £1 million?
Yes, on this investigation.
Oh my!
And they still don't have a man. So now we're in January of 1981. Come on, mofos, catch up.
Yeah, I feel like you're leaving something out.
So Olivia, I'm going to say her name is Rivers, but it could be Reavers. It's Reivers, but I'm saying Rivers. I don't know. Rivers? I don't know.
I don't either.
It's all the same pronunciation.
We've moved from Olive to Olivia.
Yeah, so she is the mother of 2, but she's a sex worker, and he picks her up and gets her into his car. But there's a policeman paying attention, and he goes, "Oh, that's not safe for her to be in a car with a person because she's a sex worker, and he might kill her."
Ripper.
So he goes, "I'm going to need for y'all to step out of the car." So Peter goes, "I have to use the bathroom so badly. Can I run behind that dumpster and pee real quick?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to talk to her. Let me talk to the sex worker, who, by the way, is in danger. And I'm going to let you just go off and whip out your willy and go tinkle."
Yeah.
Like, hello.
Right.
So he comes back, and the investigator is like, "Oh, I don't know about this guy." And he actually lets him go.
Yeah.
But he gets his information from him.
Oh, and does Peter give him his real information?
At first he doesn't, and then he does.
Oh.
Because
at this point, Peter has to be exhausted.
Well, of course.
He's
I'm exhausted.
Like, Please,
exhausted.
Catch me. I cannot do this any longer. My hands are hurting.
The policeman decides to go back to the scene where he actually went behind the dumpster to urinate, just out of curiosity. And there sits a ball-peen hammer and a knife.
Wow.
That he had taken out of his pockets.
Now, was this officer
He never peed
together and say, "Wow, that's interesting"?
Yes. So they actually pulled in Peter Sutcliffe. They pull him in, and they had started getting some crime scene labs back and stuff. They take a blood sample from him finally, and he oh shit, where's that word going? It's not exactly. He actually has a blood type of B, and that
is rare.
Blood type of B was what at every single scene that they had investigated with blood samples.
Right.
So they're like, ding, ding, ding.
Peter,
this might be our guy.
You the Ripper.
So they go pick him up, and Peter sits down with them, and he gives a 15-hour statement recounting every one of his crimes over the years. He's so tired. He's like, "Please, it's about freaking time you caught me. I'm exhausted."
I'm sure he's very proud of his work.
Dumbasses. So he claims that when he was 20 years old as a gravedigger, God told him to go kill prostitutes. Well, here's the thing. It makes no sense because half of his victims weren't even prostitutes.
I know. Sex workers.
They weren't sex workers or prostitutes or prosecutors. But they may have gone back to school, gotten a law degree, and become prosecutors.
Right.
Which is a prostitute turned prosecutor.
Correct.
Which I got to tell you, I'd like to see a whole lot of those in our court system.
Yes.
So anyway, he said that he was just cleaning up the streets. He's like, "I'm just cleaning up the streets." Really? A 14-year-old, a 16-year-old? Come on. You're cleaning up the streets with a shop assistant and a bank teller and a visiting doctor? Like, what are you cleaning? Yeah, we need to clean you up,
There are better ways to clean up the streets, Peter.
Yeah, how about a broom? Or just be a chimney sweep.
Or
like Mary Poppins.
Get these poor women out of the life of sex worker and give them a job digging graves.
Or anything.
Exactly.
Anything that doesn't put their life at risk, and they don't have to demean themselves to go with these nasty 5-pound note men.
Correct.
Come on. So anyway, he had gotten to the point where he could no longer be sexually aroused without attacking women first. Like, how gross. He's so ooty. He's ooty.
Ugh.
So the next thing he says after 15 hours is, "I'd like to call my wife Sonia and break the news to her."
Oh, well, she's going to be thrilled.
So he was like, "Sonia, it's me." She was like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "It's me. I'm the Yorkshire Ripper." And she said, "What the hell did you do all that for? What were you doing?" And he never answered.
Oh, because you couldn't have any babies.
So despite the confession, a judge says, "We still need a trial." Like, wasting money.
Due process, dude. You got to go through it.
So in April of 1987, a trial begins, and it lasts a fortnight.
A fortnight?
How long do you think that is? What's a fortnight?
4 nights?
It's actually 14 days. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what we get fortnight. 14
2
nights.
weeks.
14 nights. Fortnight.
Yeah.
Okay, you just take off the EEN. Is that what you do?
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
yeah.
So if it's 18 days, it's an 8-night?
No, it only works in Fort.
Okay. Okay. It only works in the Fort area.
Correct.
What if it's 40 nights?
Nope.
No, it's just the 14.
No, that's
with the
NOAA.
Fort.
40 days, 40 nights.
Oh, gosh.
Gotta see
that
the
would
whole
be
thing.
a 4-night.
Right. No. No.
Well, it's very confusing because fortnight is FORT night.
Right.
So it's a night spent in a fort.
I'm sure it has something to do with Latin. Go back to your roots.
If anybody's listening from the UK, can you please explain to me where we get fortnight from? Thank you.
Google it.
I'm not Googling. I would like to hear from my UK friends,
I
please.
would
Thank
too.
you very much.
I'd be more interested in.
We want to hear from the UK people.
I'd be more interested in hearing how they feel about the way you've murdered their names.
Only a couple. So, anyhow, after the fortnight, he is found to be sane.
Good.
And guilty of 13 murders and 7 attacks.
That's it?
Yes.
Dang.
There are 2 sitting out there that he never confessed to, and the police said, we don't have enough evidence to charge him on those. One of them happened to be that little girl, Tracy, that was 14 years old.
Mm.
So, at the trial, of course, Peter showed no emotion, and the judge said he would show up every day like he was showing up to work. Like it was just
It's his job.
This is just what I'm doing. First, I clean up your streets. Now come to court. It's all a job. So, finally, after he was in prison for 11 years, he confessed to those 2 extra victims, including Tracy. So she could probably put behind her.
Why?
Because he's an asshole. Somebody went and talked to him. So, okay, so in 1984, Peter gets attacked and gets sent to Broadmoor Prison, which is a more secure prison.
Wait.
Not Broadchurch.
Oh, shoot.
Not Broad. I know. I was like, oh my God. But then, no. Mm-mm. So in 1997, he was stabbed in both his eyes with a pin by another inmate. I know.
Fantastic.
But they actually performed surgery on him to save his eyesight. I'd have been like, dude, here's 2 patches. Get the hell over it. And so they saved his right eye, but they didn't save his left eye. So he was blind in one eye. Sonia eventually divorced him and remarried, but she still lives in their home that they had purchased together.
Well, yeah.
Sell it.
Why?
Ew.
He was out killing. She was making a home.
That's true. She was making a home. Whatever. That's weird. So the Yorkshire police were eventually investigated for how they mishandled the Ripper case. A lot of it there was a scathing report that came out that talked about their shoddy work and how they ignored these prostitutes that had been attacked and then survived. Mm-hmm. And then they were just like, whatever, it's just another dead prostitute. I mean, it's just one less person for us to... they were horrible.
Yeah.
So this scathing report came out, but it brought about a lot of many. Cheese lovers. Cheese lovers. All you cheese lovers, listen up. It brought many positive changes to the force. Now, Jacqueline Hill, who was his last murder victim, her family actually sued the police for restitution because it got rejected.
What?
I know. I'm upset with you over there, merry old England.
I don't think that's the way they do business.
So in 2010, Peter was up for release because he had a 30-year, so they said you have a life sentence for every murder. Okay?
Yeah.
And we need you to at least be there for 30 years. That's not 13 life sentences. That doesn't work.
Do you know how old he was?
I'm going to get to that. So he goes up to talk to them about his impending release. And they said, dude, you're never getting out of jail. You're never going to get your release. So stop talking to us. Mm-hmm. But he kept saying every year, I'm due to get out every year. He would say, I'm due to get out, but he didn't.
I mean, listen, they could have let him out and sent him to L.A. to do a cover story on prostitutes.
They could have. They really could have.
They were way behind the eight ball.
I think that because he dropped out at the age of 15, he didn't have good writing skills.
Maybe.
And he was 2 years of school from a journalist degree. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if he had only known that was an option.
Right.
Yeah. So, last year when the coronavirus hit, it took this MFer right to hell.
Oh, wow.
Age 74. Mwah. Bye-bye.
You got the Rona?
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Thank you, Rona. Yeah, silver linings with that Rona. I'm just saying.
It's a shame it took the Rona to take him out.
Yes. So as of today, his victims' families and survivors are in court suing for his estate. They want it split amongst them. Sonia was named the executor of his will. He has a will, and there is rumored to be a lot of land in his possession still.
Well, she needs to turn it right over.
She will not open the will without a court order, even though all of his siblings have implored her to please open that will and give these victims his land, give it all to them. They don't want it. They didn't have children.
Sonia, what did you know?
Oh, Sonia, I'm going to need an interview with you. Interview over a spot of tea. Tea? Shit. I was going to say we'll have a chat over a spot of tea, but it came out Chi. Chi whiz.
Wow.
I have a really great joke for you.
Okay.
Who do Christian mice pray to? Jesus. That's why I keep saying Chi, because I heard that joke today.
Oh, Lord.
So anyway, that is the Yorkshire Ripper.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. And he's an asshole. And now hopefully he's on a real slow roast downstairs in heaven.
Yeah.
I mean, downstairs in hell. That was upstairs. Now it's down.
I'm just going with whatever you say. I'm exhausted.
I hope he's hot. Real hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
Sweaty. I hope he's got sweaty balls. Okay, sugar, that's my murder.
Oh, wow, that was amazing.
Yeah, that's my murders. Murders and attacks.
A lot of murders.
The Yorkshire Ripper.
All right, well.
Peter Sutcliffe.
We're going to pause it.
I'm excited.
Ooh. And, sorry, my dog just passed gas right out loud.
And then I looked and your dog spun around so fast, I knew it was him.
It's because I put together a lick bowl for him at the beginning of this, but...
He goes through it so fast.
He's going through that and half another one and some treats.
Oh, he's going to have the trots later, sugar. He's going to have the trout trots.
In really bad shape soon. But I'm going to need to check on my bread.
Okay.
So I'm going to put you on pause.
And maybe we could come back to America and leave our British accents
we're
behind.
We're going to come right back. We could never leave them behind. I haven't figured out how to do it.
Not bad. No, don't go
please
anywhere.
Hold.
And
we are back.
And we are family.
I knocked on my bread. It sounds hollow. So fingers crossed that it's not stodgy.
Oh, if you got stodgy, you're starting over and staying up all night long.
No, that's not happening. It looks good though. I mean, it looks like
smells
bread.
So good. I can't even. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't even. For some reason, this is reminding me of Easter, but I don't know why.
Yeah, it is
an Easter bread.
Yeah. I would.
It smells so good.
You're thinking of hot cross buns.
I certainly am. I like my hot cross buns.
You don't like a hot cross bun though. You like a cinnamon roll.
I do.
Hot cross buns have got the candied fruit, the fruit like you find in fruitcake.
Oh, I'm not putting up with that.
Like neon green and the neon red.
I thought those were just on top.
Even on top, you wouldn't like them.
But I could pick them off.
No, some people put them all throughout.
I don't like them. I like my buns crossed a different way than that.
She likes the buns crossed differently.
All right, let's get back to America.
Okay, we're back in America. We are going to Michigan.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Home state of
the Michigans.
The real Slim Shady, who I like to call Marshall. Marshall Mathers.
I do love Marshall.
I do too.
I do love him.
I don't like some of the things that he says though.
Yeah, but I feel like he's really mellowed in his old age.
I feel like he's been a good dad to his daughter.
I think
really,
so too.
That speaks volumes.
And I think he's mellowed in his old age. Or I've just stopped listening to him. I don't know.
Correct. Yeah. We're probably going to get in some hot water about that one, but to each his own. We are not political
Everybody
people.
Calm down.
Calm the freak down.
Okay.
This is going to happen in Jackson, Michigan. Oh, my dog. We're going to start taking him downstairs to your house.
I don't think my
husband will
appreciate that.
He'll love it. Are you kidding? This dog adores your husband.
That's true.
I think they would snuggle in, and your husband would go right to sleep. In the recliner and night.
Yeah, that's very true.
Right, let's get up here. I think the problem is he's got gas, and he feels like he needs to go potty.
Oh my gosh!
But that's not happening.
Don't panic. It's just gas.
It's just gas, buddy.
Don't panic.
Yeah, because it's dark outside, and it's just had a murder about the Ripper.
We had a Ripper. We don't want a Ripper out there.
Oh my God.
You might be ripping them in here, but we're not going to be ripping them out there.
All right, on with it. Police are called to a house in Jackson County, Michigan.
Okay.
A man is called to say his fiancée.
You are not even one paragraph in, and you've messed up.
Because I'm going second, and I've had a lot to drink.
My fiancé.
My fiancé. And I've got a freaking dog in my lap.
He's not even in your lap. He's like up around your chin.
I don't even know. I can't read.
Now he's trying to make out with you. It's making me uncomfortable.
Ah.
Can we swaddle him?
Yes. Would you? So as police enter the bedroom, they find the body of a woman slumped between...
He keeps trying to lick her in the mouth.
I'm talking about serious things.
It's a sneak attack.
This is serious.
Oh.
They find the body of a woman slumped between the bed and the wall. She's got blood on her. She's got stab marks. What's happening?
I thought you were going to say stab mops.
Marks. She's got
what?
Marks.
I don't even think that's British.
I think it's Italian. Like Jersey Italian or Boston.
Boston.
No.
Pop the car on the mop.
She's got mops. Stop it. A woman has died. And she has zip ties on her hand. It appears that she had been strapped to the bed and cut loose. The woman's fiancé identifies her as 28-year-old Francis Craig. His name is Eric Wolf, and he tells police that he came home from his shift work. You're going to love this. He sees Frances on the floor of their bedroom, assumes she's passed out, and
on the floor?
Decides she was probably drunk.
Oh, God.
He doesn't check on her. He closes the door.
What?
Goes downstairs, gets in the recliner, and goes night-night.
Oh, my gosh. Dude, at least put a blanket on her.
Yeah. When asked, he tells police that he didn't notice the zip ties around her wrist or the big blood stain on the bed.
Oh, my God.
As a matter of fact, when police spoke to Eric about Frances's brutal murder, he seems very calm. He comes across as aloof, even indicating at one point that he wondered if maybe she didn't die of suicide.
Oh, my gosh.
Eric isn't the one that discovered Frances. It was his 10-year-old daughter.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she walked into the bedroom and sees Frances on the floor. She walks over and she can tell there's something wrong. She touches her and she feels like she's cold. So she runs down and has to wake up her dad and then tells him to call 911.
I feel like he's the one that's drunk.
Yeah, for heaven's sake. I mean, for heaven's sake.
If
my fiancé comes home and I'm drunk, passed out on the floor, maybe throw a blanket on me.
How about help me into the flipping bed?
Whatever. Well, I can't say that because I have, in my past life,
oh, dear,
had a fiancé that passed out.
A fiancé.
On the floor, but I saw him pass out, and he was face down on the hardwood floor.
Okay, well, that's super.
Breathing.
Did you put a blanket on him at least?
No.
Oh.
I went to bed. I stepped over him and went to bed, but he'd been a real jerk all night.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, match made in heaven. I don't know what the heck happened to your marriage.
I don't know why I got divorced. I'm not quite sure.
And this was pre-marriage.
Well, I don't know. We may have been married. I don't know. It's
all
been
blur.
Really long time ago. But I made sure he was breathing before I went to bed. So I've read a couple of different things. One story says that Frances had been stabbed. What's happening?
What is happening? Where are you from?
I don't know.
I think you're from Boston.
Boston tonight. Police count 90 stab wounds.
Oh my God, that's a lot.
I've also read another story that said it was 20 stab wounds. Either way, she got stabbed to death.
There's a big difference between 20 and 90.
I agree, but
somebody might be counting more than
interviewed
once.
Said 90. I'm going to go with what he said.
Okay.
It was very brutal.
There should have been an autopsy that counted them specifically.
Yes, but oddly enough, in all of the paperwork that I looked at, I did not see any autopsy.
Okay.
information. I'm not quite sure why that is.
Okay.
And I actually saw court documents and didn't.
Well, they're not always included with court documents.
Correct.
You have to specifically request them. I'll let you know how to do that later because I know how.
I'm good. I don't need to do that. All right. So the forensics team comes in. They start collecting evidence. And then police start questioning Eric. Eric doesn't act like a normal grief-stricken person. He's non-reactive. As a matter of fact, when he talked about that whole, I thought maybe she had committed suicide situation, he actually says, until just now when you told me that she was stabbed to death, I thought maybe she had committed suicide, and I just didn't want to deal with it, so I shut the door and went downstairs.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
This is something that he's had to deal with before, or I don't know, people react all differently, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
He said maybe the stress of the wedding, which was supposed to happen in just like a little, maybe a month, maybe that had been too much. He didn't know. She was not, number one, she was not like a heavy drinker. She was very happy about planning the wedding. She has 2 young daughters, a 3-year-old.
I don't know what he's talking about. She's happy, but he thinks that she committed suicide.
No, he's not saying this. I'm telling you what her friends have said. Her friends are not saying.
He was like, she might have committed suicide, but she's real happy.
No.
I thought she passed out, but she don't drink much.
No. Her friends have come out and said no.
No. Okay.
She has a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Okay.
He's got a 10-year-old. She's about to be a stepmom.
Yeah.
So, something's just not. It's not
adding up.
And they point blank ask Eric, "Did you have something to do with her murder?"
And let me guess.
He says, no, adamantly, no. I absolutely had nothing to do with her death. So they start kind of looking into Eric and his background, like, we need to know who he is. Let's figure out what the heck.
Who you is? Who are your people?
Well, let me tell you.
Okay.
Eric has had some violent tendencies in the past.
Eric.
Some past girlfriend scuffles, so he's got a bit of a record. And wouldn't you know, Eric's father, Daniel, is currently in jail serving time for first-degree murder. Wow. What?
This is not sitting well with me.
What? I don't understand. Friends on both sides did come forward and say that Eric and Frances both had some second thoughts about getting married. There are a lot of red flags going up at this point. There was no forced entry into the home. Police get a search warrant because they need to take a look at the electronics in the house. They notice that Frances's cell phone isn't in the house.
You could call her Franz.
Well, some people called her Franny, but I didn't really hear her friends calling her Franny, so I didn't want to call her Franny because I wasn't sure if people called her Franny. I don't know.
Don't call her Franny.
Her attorney called her Fran. It just makes me uncomfortable. Everybody that really seemed to really know her called her Frances.
Okay. Well, Frances's
cell phone wasn't in the house, but police did find it smashed up against a tree in the backyard.
Oh.
When they checked the phone, they didn't find anything out of the ordinary. Nothing out of the ordinary. No.
I'm hearing you say nothing.
There wasn't. So they really start to hone in on Eric as the killer because, that makes the most sense. So they go in and they check his alibi. They go to his place of employment. They look at the time card. He clocked in at 6 in the evening. He clocked out at 6 in the morning. That's his 12-hour shift, just like he said. There are security cameras in the building, but they don't give 100% coverage of where he could be.
Okay.
So they cannot clear him. And at this point, they don't arrest him, but they do remove the children from his home and put them with grandparents just to be on the safe side. And he agrees to it. He says, if that's what makes you comfortable, fine.
Okay.
So, and he says he's good with it. He gets supervised visits.
Okay.
With his daughter, I don't know what his relationship was with
the
her
other
kids.
children.
Yeah.
But he seems cooperative.
Yeah. So this is really tough for police because Frances didn't really have any enemies. She had, an ex-husband or two, and they didn't always get along, but they had alibis, and so everybody's just like, Frances was great.
Stranger danger.
Heck? What the heck? As a matter of fact, Frances was so nice that she had taken in one of Eric's friends, Ryan Marshall, after his house burned down. He lived with them until April of 2014, just 4 months before Frances was murdered. So police called old Ryan in for questioning. He doesn't have a lot to offer. He's got an alibi, and he stands by Eric and says there is no way that Eric would murder Frances. There's just no way.
Yeah, but would you?
Well, evidently he had an alibi.
Okay.
So the crime lab gets a hit on DNA that was found on the zip tie. There were zip ties around her wrist.
Yeah.
So they did get a hit. They run it through the system, and a name comes back.
Yeah.
Cortez Butler. So weird. Because Cortez, he doesn't live in Jackson. He lives over close to Detroit. So
I don't even know where all that is.
Well, they're not in the same place.
Okay.
So it would be odd for him to show up. Like, what's the connection here? What the heck? Interestingly enough, though, Cortez had served more than 20 years for second-degree murder.
Oh, gosh.
He had been released on parole July of 2013, lived in the Detroit area. So they got to find Cortez, right? They got to figure out what the heck are you doing.
I think he's exploring.
He might, yes.
I think he's out exploring and discovering new lands.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes.
So the police call his parole officer.
Uh-huh.
They get his cell phone number.
Mm-hmm.
They run the cell phone through all the little magical things that you do with cell phone numbers when you're looking at people.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't you know, he had been in Jackson on August 10th.
I'm going to Jackson.
And that's the day that...
I'm going to mess around. That's a Johnny Cash and June Cash song.
That's not what he was doing there. So that's when Frances was murdered, August 10th.
Oh, and he was in town during that time.
The phone records also connect Cortez to some other shady characters. Rodney McKee, M-C-K-E-E, McKee.
Rodney.
Yeah, who's under investigation for an apartment building fire in Jackson. And his uncle, Clifford McKee, also served time in prison for murder, but also was out.
These people are prison serving, out walking around type of people.
Correctamundo. Well, guess what?
And they're up to mischief.
Guess who owned the apartment building that got burned? Ryan Marshall.
He's their friend.
He was the friend. Yes.
And he owned that apartment building, and then he came and stayed with them after that happened.
It turns out
Are you saying that he did it?
No.
Like, did he burn down his own apartment?
He did not.
He was a victim.
I'm going to tell you. If you would just...
But I'm just
maybe
saying.
Zip it for 1 sec.
What's a zip tie?
A zip tie.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Turns out that Ryan's mama...
His mom
had been dealing some heroin.
What?
Yeah, for Rodney McKee. But after a couple of months, she said, this really isn't for me.
This is not for me. I thought it was going to be a lot easier. I thought this was a work-from-home job. You got me driving places.
Not into the
I'm not really making my money back. I think I'm going to do DoorDash.
Peace out, brother. Yeah, I'm going to DoorDash.
I'm a DoorDash.
Yeah. Well, Rodney, he didn't take that well.
He didn't?
No.
Where did she live at the time?
Well, she lived in that apartment building.
Well, I'll be damned.
And so when we think of an apartment, we think of like an apartment complex. This is a building that maybe had 1 or 2 apartments.
Okay.
And it looked like a house.
Okay.
And Ryan and his mama lived there.
Okay.
They both lived there. Mm-hmm. And they happened to be inside the house when it was set upon fire.
Set upon?
Yes.
Oh, my heavens.
Yes.
Set upon?
It also turns out that Ryan saw who set the house on fire.
Was it Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Marshall.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Marshall.
Ryan Marshall. So
Ryan Marshall Mathers?
No.
Okay.
No,
that's how rumors
Ryan
get
Marshall.
Started.
Yes. So the whole thing turned out to be a plot to get rid of a witness. But what Rodney didn't know was that Ryan had moved out. He didn't live with Eric and Frances anymore. Right.
What the flip?
Right.
Wait 1 minute.
I will not.
Are you saying
Yes.
that he killed her because he went looking for Ryan and found her at home instead and killed her because he got it wrong? She died because he got it wrong. Is that what you're saying? Mother flipper.
I know it. Clifford had hired Cortez to get rid of Ryan. Cortez and Clifford had served time together.
I feel like there was a breakdown of communication because Ryan is a man and he clearly killed a woman.
No, you're going to love. He tells you. He'll tell you why he did it.
Oh, I'm thankful to him.
So Clifford hired Cortez to get rid of Ryan because he was a witness. And they were getting ready to go to trial. So they got to get rid of the witness so that Rodney doesn't go down.
No witness,
because
no crime.
Is Rodney's uncle.
Yeah.
That's
a good uncle.
Take care of the family.
You gotta take care of your peeps.
So, Rodney and Clifford paid Cortez to take care of their problem. When Cortez gets to the house, he finds Francis, and the cell phone records for all three of these jackasses show correspondence via text where they discuss getting rid of Ryan. Eric Wolf had no involvement whatsoever. None. Nothing.
Eric Wolf was the fiancé.
Correct. So according to Cortez, he got into the house. Evidently the door was unlocked. Must be that kind of neighborhood. It happens.
It does. I mean, it happens. Guys, please lock your doors.
He walked into the rooms. There were 2 rooms that had the three children. There were 2 girls, 1 boy. He didn't bother the children. Thank the Lord. He walks into the room and he sees Frances. He wakes her up and says, "Hey, I'm looking for Ryan." And she says, "He doesn't live here." And he said, "Don't you look at me. Oh. Don't look at me." Right. Don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
So he keeps on her and he wants to know where is he, and she won't tell him.
Maybe she didn't even freaking know.
Right.
I don't know where people are.
And then he said, "And she looked at me. So I had to kill her."
Mother, you are so mean.
And the autopsy report does the attorney, the prosecuting attorney, I got it.
Not the prosecutor.
Woo!
There's not a prosecutor.
Said that it was a very long and drawn out killing, that he had tortured her.
He tortured her to try to get her to talk.
Get that information. Yeah.
What a son of a bitch.
I know. Isn't that awful?
What a son of a bitch.
He could have just walked out.
And he knew that she had children in that house.
Yeah, he did not care. These are not the type of people that care. I can assure you of this.
Oh my gosh.
Because throughout his trial, Rodney...
This is not her business. It's not her circus, not her monkeys.
No.
Not her anything.
She
had
simply
involved.
helped out a friend, and he wasn't even there.
Oh my God.
Yep. And throughout the whole trial, Rodney... No. Cortez, who was the actual killer, was all smiley and laughing, very proud of the murder that he had committed before, and he had served time. Very proud of this. Very, very proud.
Good. He can be very proud for the rest of his life and live under the jail with the worms.
Rodney McKee, Clifford McKee, and Cortez Butler are all found guilty of first-degree murder.
Good.
Conspiring to commit murder in the first degree, and first-degree home invasion. Rodney and Clifford were also found guilty of soliciting murder.
Okay.
They were all sentenced to life without parole.
That's not enough.
In 2018, all 3 appealed their murder conviction, but the appeal was denied. In October of 2020, Cortez Butler's appeal to the Supreme Court was denied. He will never walk the streets again. On January...
But he gets to walk, and that's what makes me mad.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, he's
proud.
As far as I know,
he's with his people because he's proud of what he did.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a lot of pride.
Yeah.
And he's probably, exalted in prison for being so brutal.
Right.
Oh,
it was like...
I'm getting dizzy.
it was really hard for her family and her friends to listen to him and to watch him day in and day out during this whole court case.
I can't imagine with the smirking and the smiling and the pride and the, oh my God, I want to bludgeon him, and I want to snatch his eyeballs right out of his head, and then I would like to take a knife and split his tongue, because he's a horrible person.
Yeah, he probably enjoyed all that, to be honest.
I don't want him to live.
Maniacal.
I want to put light bulbs in his food every day, crushed up light bulbs.
That's such a good idea.
I agree.
Hopefully somebody in the prison system will take care of him, but we'll
really
see what
hope
happens.
so.
On January 27th, 2021, the Supreme Court of Michigan granted Rodney and Clifford McKee's defense team an extension to file a supplemental brief for review. They had until the 23rd. What happens when you go to the Supreme Court? Once you go from, I don't think it's the district court, but the civil court, whatever court it is that you go to before you get to.
It's your appeals. It's
circuit court.
Yeah.
Once you go through that process, then you go to the Supreme Court and your attorney has to file a supplemental brief. Each one of them gets 20 minutes to do their brief. It's not like the case is tried over again. And they claim that they should not have been convicted because, and this is a true fact, Cortez Butler, when he confessed to police about what he did, it was not recorded. Not recorded. And that's what they said, because it's not a recorded statement, they should get off. I don't think Michigan Supreme Court is going to say, okay, we're going to overturn it, do a new. I don't think so. But I think because of the coronavirus, this whole thing has gotten extended.
Well,
so
we are definitely going to have to go on some kind of website and do a court watch. But
they got life sentences for several of their charges, and they're only talking about the murder charge. These guys are not getting out of jail. They're not getting out of jail. But they should not be exonerated for murder either.
No. He murdered her.
Right. So,
and he was proud of it. So what does he care?
Yeah. And they hired him. There's proof that...
they hired him.
Text messages, and there's proof. Like, everything lines. It's not like his statement...
It's not like it was questionable. Right.
So, I don't see that go. But we'll follow it. And if we get an update on it, we'll let everybody know. And that is the brutal, horrible, terrible murder of Frances Craig.
Well, God rest her soul.
Yes. And her poor children that have to grow up without a mother.
Yes. And her friend Ryan better be at her grave kissing that headstone every single day.
I can't imagine the amount of guilt that he must feel.
She saved his life.
She certainly did.
She absolutely sacrificed her own life for him.
She did.
So,
how would you like a piece of toast?
I think I need a piece of toast.
A piece of toast. I'm going to put it on pause so I can cut the bread.
Oh, I'm excited. I don't know what that word is. That's how you do.
And we're back.
We're back.
And our bread is not stodgy.
And it's gorgeous.
It is so pretty.
I can't wait to shove it in my pie hole.
And I did splurge and buy the Kerrygold Irish butter to put on it.
Oh, Lord, sugar.
Oh my God.
You're in charge of the Easter bread.
Oh my God, it's so good. Okay.
That is so good.
It is really, really good. We have social media.
We do.
You can get this recipe if you email us and ask for it. We'll say, yes, you can have it.
You can be our friend.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
That email address, I'm going to stop eating, is murder.sugarcoated@gmail.com.
Yes.
Yes. Email us.
And we have Instagram.
Oh, God, we do?
Mm-hmm. At Sugarcoated Murder. And I'm still eating. Sorry.
People are going to be mad at you.
I don't care. They're just gel.
Yeah.
So that's at Sugarcoated Murder, and we're up over 900 followers.
Yeah, you're missing out if you're not following us on Instagram.
I'm telling you, it's a wild time. Mm-hmm. But we're also on Facebook. We have a Facebook fan page, and it's like... He doesn't like it when we talk about the fan page.
He doesn't.
He really doesn't. I think he's upset because he doesn't have his own fan page.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. So you can just go on Facebook and type in the search. You just type in Sugar Coated Murder Podcast fan group page, and it'll come up.
And
we have just
we
a regular.
also just regular, that Sugar Coated Murder podcast.
Yes, so any of those are fine. But if you come to the fan page, we post memes, we post our episodes early, we do things like that. We kind of banter back and forth, and it's a good time there. And we would love it if you would join us. And also, we're on Twitter, and I don't know the handle, and we're on Tumblr, and I don't know how that handle. I don't even know how I put things out there, but I do. It's so confusing. But we're on TikTok now, and I'm looking for people to follow me on TikTok.
We're ticking and talking.
Yeah, so come and follow us on TikTok, and you look for Sugar Coated Murder, I think. Just type in the search Sugar Coated Murder Podcast. If you can't find us, email us, and then I'll put the link on an email and send it to you, because I just don't know.
Yeah, we'll get it together eventually.
We're getting there.
We have a link tree.
We do. It's on our fan page.
Yes.
It's in the bio of our Instagram handle. It's in the bio of our TikTok. It's in our bio of our TikTok profile.
We're amazing.
And so there's a link tree, and on that link tree you can find several different places that you can listen to us, and there's a place where you can buy awesome merchandise. There's like 2 or 3 different places that sell our merchandise. So, and we get a
face mask. You can get a face mask with Sugar Coated Murder on it.
Yes, and we get a wee bit of profit. So if you're in the mood to support a small business, that's us.
That's what we are.
And also on this link tree, you can actually click the top link, and you can send us some money through PayPal to
buy us a spot of tea.
Buy us a spot of tea or a cup of joe or some flour or some Kerrygold butter.
Yeah.
Or some cinnamon or whatever.
Some calm pills for trout.
Calm pills for trout, or just help offset the expenses of our podcast. Yeah. Because believe it or not, a podcast costs money.
It does.
It does. Several different revenues of outcome, but not a lot of income.
No, there's not any income.
If you want to help some sisters, if you want to help some sisters out, feel free.
Absolutely.
So this has been fun.
It's been amazing.
We went to Gaston Lake. The last episode, we were talking about going to visit our friends, the Vicks, and we went to visit them. We had a super great time.
We really did.
We ended up going and meeting 2 of our awesome high school friends, Cindy and Marty, at this beautiful, cute little restaurant called Serve.
Oh my gosh.
It was so incredible. Serve in Franklin, Virginia. And it was so cute. And I really, really hope if you're ever in that area that you will go, because the service was amazing. Not only was the service, but the food was top notch.
Insanely good.
Top notch.
I was so impressed. The artichoke dip with
yes, and the greatest part is this restaurant is in an old storefront that used to be a drugstore, and that drugstore used to be Parker Drug, and that's where our dad first worked when we moved to Franklin as a family, before Annie was even like a twinkle in anybody's eyeball.
Exactly.
So, great place, but we had a really good time, and
it was so much fun.
We went to the Franklin Library, and there was a girl there named Beth that could not have been more patient with 2 old biddies up in there trying to learn how to use microfilm.
We're researching a murder, and it's not time to do it just yet.
No, but it's a local murder, and we were in there trying to find some newspaper clippings and from the 80s, and so it was all on microfilm.
Yeah.
And this girl, Beth, could not have been more helpful. So,
very patient.
Shout out to Beth. If we have any listeners in that area, please drop by the library and tell Beth that we gave her.
Ruth Camp Marks Library, right?
Ruth Campbell.
Ruth Campbell. Whatever.
I don't know. It's the Franklin Library. I don't know. It's a beautiful building, but
it's not a library. It is a library.
Stop in there and tell Beth that we said, howdy ho, girl.
Howdy ho.
Yes. So anyway, guys.
Oh my gosh. And we also discovered this fantastically wonderful place called Belmont Peanuts.
Yes. And we each brought 4 cans back.
We got Bloody Mary flavored, Chesapeake Bay flavored, Margarita flavored, and sea salt, just to be on the healthy side. But
super good peanuts.
So reasonably priced. They are so good.
And it's a family owned business, small business in Southampton County. Look it up. You can get everything online. Send them an email and tell them that you heard about them from Sugar Coated Murder.
And y'all, Southampton County in Virginia is peanut country.
There are so many peanut companies there. I'm amazed that they all thrive, but they all have incredible products.
Yes, but Belmont
Belmont is where you want to be.
They've got the cutest little shop with a deli counter.
Oh, we went in there. We weren't scheduled to eat lunch there, but we went in there to pick up the peanuts, and
Delicious.
OMG. So Casey helped us with the peanuts, but Ashley actually got the peanuts together for us.
Yeah,
so thank you, Casey and Ashley. Cashley and AC.
No.
It's not who you are at all. So
Belmont Peanuts. We'll put this information out on our fan page so you don't forget. These are great small local businesses, and they ship. Belmont, they ship.
They need your support. They're farmers. They're peanut farmers, and they need your support.
Yeah. So
yeah. Anyway, guys, we love y'all.
Wait. One more thing. We went into the cutest little shop while we were in Gaston. It's in Littleton, North Carolina. And it's called Once Upon a County Line Emporium. Look them up, too. Super cute. Wonderful shop.
Wonderful.
We found this beautiful depression glass cake stand and cupcake stand. So cute.
Guys, they've got awesome
You'll see
stuff.
pictures. Well, we did a picture last week with the key lime pie on it. Oh, my gosh.
Yes, that's a cute little store. So if y'all are in Littleton, North Carolina, that's the town that they're actually in, and go in and see them and tell them that you heard about us on Sugar Coated Murder. They'll be thrilled.
Yes.
We told them we'd give them a shout out.
All right. I'm going to tell you one more thing, and then we're going to go.
Yeah, because it's past my bedtime.
I know. I was meant to make a chocolate chess pie for last whatever. It was going to be on this week's, but I had to scrap it because I messed it up. But
it tasted good. It just didn't look good.
It didn't look pretty. I'm going to tell you what the recipe is. You can email me and ask me for the recipe. It is not a recipe that you can find online. Chocolate chess pie, a stick of butter, 1.5 ounces of bitter chocolate, 3/4 cup of both white and brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of milk, and a teaspoon of vanilla. This is the most important part. This is where I went wrong. Whisk it together with a hand whisk. I put it together in my KitchenAid because the mixture was very grainy. And modern day recipes, you try really hard not to have a grainy batter. This batter is meant to be grainy because everything melts together and dissolves that sugar. So it's not granular when it comes out. The problem when you put it in a mixer, it forms a meringue on top.
Yeah,
you get that hard meringue, and then the underside of it doesn't cook.
So a typical chocolate chess pie has a very thin, crusty, crunchy crust on top.
Yes.
That's where that granulated sugar will rise to the top.
Right.
But because you got it so whipped up and there's so much air.
I got some sort of a crazy meringue. It was good. It really was good, but it took a really long time for that pie to cook.
Yeah.
So anyway, you throw all that stuff on a unbaked pie crust. I use Pillsbury. You bake it for like 30 minutes. That recipe comes from my grandmother's cookbook. My mom and aunt have one too. From St. John's United Methodist Church in Buena Vista, Virginia.
Awesome.
This is
another little small town.
The 1990 cookbook, I believe. That it's 1989 cookbook. All right. And a lovely woman there, Nancy Wegand, she gave us that recipe.
Awesome.
So, there you go.
Okay, guys. Gosh, that's a lot of housekeeping.
If you want any of our recipes, send us an email. We'll give them to you.
If you just want to be our friend, send us an email because we need friends. We always love friends and we don't turn them away.
We don't. We like them.
Mm-hmm. We don't. So in the meantime, guys, stay sweet.
And don't murder.
If you kill people,
we will talk about you.
Girl, yes, because that's why we have a podcast.
Exactly.
We love y'all.
Bye.
Stay good. Bye, y'all.
No, sweet. Stay
sweet. Just goodbye.
Bye.